Welcome to Lunacy, where we discern the sacred from the insane and admit that whether we like it or not, we are all profoundly affected by the cycles of the moon. How?
Now, do you like wolves? You have a wolf notebook, I see.
I do. You know what? You're right. I like wolves. I'm into them. I think they're cool.
Have you always liked wolves?
Yeah, I think so. Since I was a wee lad.
Would you say that was your spirit animal?
I would say that that's my spirit animal. Yeah. I even had some lady in Omaha who studied at the Shamanic Institute. This is a weird story.
Mm-hmm.
And she did like a reading for me. She was like, yeah, you're a wolf person. You're a wolf person. And I was like, okay, cool. I like wolves because that's cool.
You? Did she say what about you specifically makes you a wolf person?
She didn't say what makes me a wolf person. She just said that was my like power animal.
Okay.
And then I sort of looked it up more, and they're pack animals. They're very human. They hunt in groups, and there's a social order, and they have relationships, and they're said to be like the symbol for teacher in like the Native American.
Okay.
And I'm a teacher. I taught children musical theater. All right.
You taught children
Big
musical
time.
theater.
I did. Yeah. Like 4 years out here.
And did you like it?
Yes.
What did you like about it?
I'm not still doing it, but that's because I'm doing this. What did I like about it? I liked it, and then sometimes I didn't like it. I liked being able to have a positive impression on children that are like impressionable. I didn't like being a disciplinarian. That wasn't my thing.
Do you not think, if we can just go back to the disciplining, you don't like that. Do you not think that being someone who's able to discipline children in an effective manner is something that could perhaps make a positive impression on them?
I do think disciplining children in a positive manner, in a good way, for sure makes a positive impression. And for sure, it's totally necessary.
Yeah.
Like I had to do it. It just wasn't my favorite part of the gig.
Yeah.
I would find ways around it or like clap. It's not my job to be their parent.
Yeah.
It's my job to have them be quiet while I'm teaching them the thing and then get them to get up and perform.
Yeah.
But the act of getting them to perform was really gratifying, and watching them perform was really gratifying, and being able to give them like life lessons. Like we did a show based on Hamilton. Okay. Based on Hamilton, people. All right. Where, it's really important for all these characters to walk around really confident.
Yeah.
So I did this whole thing with them. And I was like, okay, I want you guys to walk around. I had them walk in different ways, like they were tired, like they were cranky, like they were sad. And then I was like, now walk around with a cape. Act like you're wearing a cape. If you're the king.
Capes make you feel pretty powerful.
Yeah. And you stand up tall and you walk around. And I was like, just walk around like that all the time. Whenever you feel down, walk around like that.
Did you ever see the movie The Incredibles?
I did.
Yeah. Edna Mold, when she's no capes. When she was making the superhero costumes, and she said she doesn't make superhero costumes with capes. And then they do a montage of all the different superheroes getting sucked in by cape. And then she was like, yeah, no capes. So yeah, capes are great for superheroes, but even still, capes can sometimes drag you down.
They can. But in terms of like being a child, they're good. And thinking about wearing a cape causes you to pull your shoulders back and hold your head up high and then walk around like you're the boss.
There is this comedian, I won't say his name because he got canceled for doing bad things to women, but he used to have this bit where he did an impression of a man throwing back his cape, and he did this sweeping motion. And it just, every time I think of someone wearing a cape, I think of this sweeping motion where you're throwing your cape back and it just undulates in the wind, and then you take off and save someone. And in his case, it was rape someone. So yeah, there's pieces of shit out there. Let's go on.
Well, first of all, we should talk about why we met. Should we talk about why we met?
Ayahuasca ceremony.
We met doing ayahuasca, plant medicine, people.
Plant medicine.
Okay. Grandmother ayahuasca. Yeah, I think, and also don't do it if you don't want to do it, unless you really want to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody. And if you're like, I really want to do it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sit on that for a little.
For it. Yeah.
There was a very long period of time in which I wanted to do it, and I didn't do it until it was like, I was waiting till I found my absolute emotional and spiritual rock bottom. And then I was like, I have no other choice but to do this because I didn't know what else to do. And so then I started doing it and changed my life. But yeah, research it a lot. Talk to a lot of people, not me. Don't reach out to me. I don't want to talk to you about it at all, but find people in your life who are actually in your life, like real people that you can like get a cup of coffee with and talk to them, because it's important to know. Like, I heard about it through a mutual friend of ours, and he told me all about it. And as soon as he started telling me about it, I was like, yeah, all of that, everything. So
Yeah, I did it to stop smoking.
Really?
I was always curious about it. I was like, that sounds cool, man. I've done mushrooms before. I'll try it. And I did it to stop smoking because I had been smoking for years and I had tried to quit so many times, and I quit for like 3 years, and I read The Easy Way to Stop Smoking, and that was helpful, which I highly recommend, by the way. But then I was like, I got to do this. And I had heard that it was helpful for like big fat addictions. And I was like, I'm going to do it and get rid of the smoking, Bob. Yay. And my now wife and I did it and totally
was she a
worked.
smoker as well?
No, not really.
No.
She's one of those really annoying people that could like smoke and then doesn't need one. I hate. I love her. I fucking married her. So obviously I don't hate her, but I can't do that.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's like I'm the nicotine's definitely more addictive than heroin. That's a true fact.
Yeah,
I'm that guy. I do feel like that's accurate. And for me, I did ayahuasca, and I'll tell you, it like what the effect of it was that I came out of ceremony and I was like, I just imagined, I had the intention. I was like, okay, I really want to stop smoking. And then I came out of ceremony and I would want a cigarette like normal, but I would imagine myself getting in the car, driving down to the liquor store that I always bought my cigarettes, picking up a pack of Dunhill Lights. That was my brand because I'm fucking fancy.
Yeah, Dunhill's Christ.
Cool, raw. You know what I mean? It's the world's funnest cigarette. And their motto is, on the path to perfection, we take no detours.
On the path to cancer. Listen, every accent you do, I'm going to believe it.
Okay, good. That's great.
I don't know accents well enough. I'm currently stuck on this accent. It's a Cockney accent I've found. I'm dating a guy who knows a lot about British accents because he dated one British person. He dated one British person and now he's a fucking expert.
Now he's an expert.
So the accent that I like to do that drives him mental, I'll be like, hello, love. Shall we get a pie? We can get a pie. Oh, you can put it in a pie.
It's shepherd's pie.
A shepherd's pie.
Yeah, right. Would you like some shepherd's pie?
I'll tell you what they put in the shepherd's pie. They put little kids' fingers in the shepherd's pie. So that is my current obsession. And he said every time I do it, he wants to kill me. It is the thing I've ever heard in my. He thinks it's absolutely the worst thing ever. But what he does find really funny. No, but a girl can dream. I just want someone who loves me enough to kill me. But I do a New York accent. I don't even know if it's necessarily New York, but it's an East Coast accent. And this weekend he wanted to get some art in a room in his house. And he's like, yeah, I want to get some wall decor. And then he was like, wall decor. It sounds like a family. It sounds like a proper family. Where are the wall decor?
I don't know the wall decors.
Yeah.
Of the Waldorfs.
Of the wall decor. The wall decor
It's
estate.
like cousins of the Waldorf.
But for some reason I hear it and I'm like, oh, the wall decors. Oh, okay. You're going to go over the wall decors.
You're very going. Like, you're going Jewish from Queens.
But so the Waldorf family is like the proper like white Jewish family in the neighborhood. And then I'm like the mom who's, oh, you're going to go hang out at the Waldecors, are you? Is she going to feed you while you're over there? Would she have a maid make something for you? What do they have, a chef at the house? What do they have, one of those walk-in refrigerators?
Is it kosher? Are you going to eat kosher?
Says, oh,
what kind of, are you having pork? Please don't have any bacon. At the Waldecors.
At the Waldecors. Listen, my daughter comes home and she tells me that she wants to be a Waldecor. I'm like, fine, go ahead. Let them adopt you. They don't want to fucking Jew in the house.
They'll kill you in your sleep.
If
they're probably, you know what? They are the cannibals.
Jewish. Yeah, of course they're cannibals. They're the Waldecors.
They eat
get
children.
whatever they want. Yep.
You're going to wake up with no fingers.
In a shepherd's pie. They put the children in a shepherd's pie. So yeah, but
I never finished my smoking story.
Okay, keep going. By the way, this is what the podcast is going to be with me. It's going to be a meandering craziness.
I'm into it. So they say that one of the functions of ayahuasca, and there's physiological evidence out there, according to some people, that you reprogram your brain. You can form new neural pathways during the ayahuasca journey, they call it. And you activate like 100% of your brain or something crazy, which we're usually using 2% or 10% maybe. Anyway, so I picture myself going to, every time I want a cigarette, even now, I'll picture myself getting in the car, driving down the street to my local liquor store, picking up a pack of Dunhill Laws. On the path to perfection, we take no detours. Right, isn't it? Lovely. Going out to the parking lot, pulling off the plastic, pulling off the fucking aluminum foil, pulling out a cigarette.
Packing it. You got to pack that. What?
I'm not a packer. I don't pack anything. All right. I don't pack fudge. I don't pack cigarettes. I'm not into it. Forget it.
Dude, I haven't heard a fudge packer joke in a long time. Keep going.
You're not allowed.
So you don't pack it. You take all the wrappers off.
So I take all the wrappers off. I pull it out. I light it. I fucking take the first puff, the first puff, or the first puff, the two. And then I feel fucking terrible. I feel the feelings of feeling terrible. I see myself just being like, oh God, it tastes so bad. That's so rotten. And then I'm like, okay, fuck it. I'm not going to be wasteful. So I'm going to finish the cigarette, which is the dumbest. It's none of it makes any sense. And then I finish the pack. And then I'm like on the fucking bus to fucking chasing this addiction all the time and constantly worried about cigarettes and all of the things in my mind that I hate about cigarettes come flooding back, like really sitting at the table, wanting to fucking get up and go have a cigarette when I'm talking to my mom. You know what I mean?
When you were smoking, were you like worried where you were going to get your next cigarette?
I was, when you're a smoker, you're constantly thinking about your next cigarette. You can't, there's no, maybe not constantly, but a lot of the time, like you have dinner. As soon as the meal's over, you're thinking about a cigarette. And you're wanting to go, but you don't want to be rude and you don't want to come back smelling like a cigarette because they will know that you had a cigarette and then they're going to fucking give you frowny face. So and even if they don't give you frowny face.
You had a lot of shame when you were smoking.
It is such a shame factory. Smoking is such a shame factory. Yeah. It's terrible because it does smell like shit and it is annoying and it does cause cancer, but also it's such a hard addiction to break if you're in it. It's
Do you remember
so
when
hard.
there was smoking, like you could smoke in restaurants or on planes or like smoking? Smoking was like cool at one point.
Yeah. I feel like it was definitely cancer causing all of my life. Like I remember my grandmother used to smoke Larks and I used to take the cigarettes and crush them and put them in the toilet. And she was like, when I was like 7 years old, 8 years old, she was like, oh God. She was so sweet about it.
Yeah.
But I didn't want her to die. I was like, I don't want you to die from this, Gigi.
And then at what point did you start smoking?
A friend of mine. Yeah. He gave me a drag one time and I was like, oh, okay. And then I remember I tried it with my buddy, Bill. Mm-hmm. We went down to the gas station when we were 15 years old and they sold us cigarettes because they're assholes. You're not supposed to sell cigarettes to minors, but they sold them to us. I think I told them it was for my dad or some shit. I don't know. We got a pack of Marlboro Reds and we smoked like 10 of them in the backyard of my house, but we didn't inhale. And so like my mom was like,
smoking without inhaling because mouth cancer's way better than lung cancer.
Right. But we never got like the full taste of the cigarette. And then when I was 16, I was just totally in.
Yeah.
I just started smoking. And in Omaha, it was like we were drinking.
Were you a smoke in your car person?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you
Windows
ash
down.
in your car or ash out the window?
Ash out the window.
Okay.
Yeah. You got to draw
a
the line
total
somewhere.
pig.
No.
I had a babysitter growing up who was an ash in the car babysitter.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah. But she was great. She used to listen to country music. She like introduced me to country music when I was a kid.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, still like country music. Don't like cigarettes, but I do love an occasional cigarette. But I'm that annoying person who can like have it and then be like, I'm fine.
Yeah. I can't do that, which is why I did ayahuasca.
Yeah.
And then
how long have you been cigarette free now?
It's been 2 years and 2 months. I quit in November of.
Congrats. That's amazing.
November 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you find ayahuasca?
I've been curious about it for a while. And also I knew it was like a thing to stop smoking. And I had a friend who I used to go to Zen meditation quite a lot. And I had a friend from that world, from the Santa Monica Zen Center. And he was like, dude, you got to try ayahuasca. It's amazing. It's such a spiritual, transformative experience. It'll really change your life. Like you really have a direct experience of whatever. And I was like, that sounds awesome. And so I went and then I was like, oh, this is really cool. Yeah, I'm into it.
And you've only done it with the group that we do it with.
I did it with one other group.
Okay, the first time.
No, a few months ago.
Okay. And how was that?
That was cool. They just sang songs the whole time.
Oh, that's so wild.
It was like they sang songs and we could sing along. Some of them were in English, some of them were in Portuguese, some of them were in Hebrew.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of Jews, a lot of Israelis. It was good. It's a good crew.
Israelis. If there's one thing as Israelis like, it's drugs.
But it's helped me
immeasurably in other aspects of life.
Again, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's not. It's really not.
But it's helped me. Like I drink way less.
I think it should be for everybody. I think everybody should do it. I think if everybody did ayahuasca, there would be world peace. You absolutely cannot be on the medicine and feel anything. Even someone you vehemently hate, you're still like, I love in my heart for you.
Yeah.
You just have, it's just all the love that's in your body just comes oozing out.
I feel like that's true. You can also be totally terrified. I don't know if you've had an experience like that, but I've had a couple experiences where I was just like, this is fucking absolutely terrifying. And all of the,
How do you get out of that?
For sure. Ask for help.
Ask for help.
I mean, it's good to do it with somebody. I would highly, if you're going to do it with somebody who knows what they're doing, don't do it with Joe Schmo down the street who just got back from Peru.
I remember my first
2-day
time.
Course.
I didn't know anyone else. And I remember after the first cup, just sitting there and nothing was happening. Didn't feel a fucking thing. And I was just sitting there just nauseated. All I felt like I was going to barf, but I wasn't feeling anything else other than just nausea. And I remember sitting there being like, I swear to fucking God, if I paid all this money just to come to a house in the middle of nowhere to feel like this, I'm going to kill someone. And then there was this guy sitting next to me who was one of the helpers in ceremony. And I was like, hey, hi, excuse me. I'm not feeling anything. And he's like, go talk to the shaman. And I was like, okay, cool. And then afterwards I was like, hey, nothing's happening. He's like, just give it a second. Wait till the second cup. And then I did the second cup and I was like, and we're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, hello, astral plane.
Yeah. It's really something. It's an indescribable thing.
It really is an indescribable feeling. And when people ask, I'm like, it's nothing I can describe. It's unlike anything.
What's interesting about it is I hear some of the good things that have happened for me. I've gotten closer to nature, like more in tune with nature, more attracted to nature. I drink way less. Like I used to drink every night, not like a shit ton. I wasn't like a crazy alcoholic, but I would have 1 to 3 drinks every night, or 1 to like 5 drinks, but usually like not more than.
So 1 to alcoholic. You were drinking. He was basically, guys, that cured him of his nicotine addiction and his alcoholism.
Maybe, whatever. But I was drinking on the regular, so I guess you could say. But
and now you're not.
No.
How often do you drink now?
First of all, I rarely have more than 1 drink. Ever. If I have 2, that's like a lot. And I feel it the nest day and I'm like recovering and then I'm like, what the fuck? Why did I do that? Because I feel like I'm very conscious of what the effect of that drug is. First of all, it's a depressant. Second, it invites negative voices in my head and it fucks with my confidence. And it's always the next day. There's a reason why people say and do stupid shit when they're drunk.
Yeah.
And it's not that's their true self. It's because you're lowering your vibration and you're inviting negative whatever energies or whatever.
Yeah, there's that expression, a drunk man's word is a sober man's thought. And a drunk man's word is just the same person, just a lower vibration.
Yeah, exactly. Or there's some sort of like manipulation. I don't know if I want to go that far, but with it, I would put it this way. The voices in your head that are bad, that are fucking with you, get a lot worse when you're drinking. And you do dumb shit that you wouldn't do. Or people.
Yeah. I've never, and that's pretty much the part of being drunk that is, I'm always like, I shouldn't have fucked that person. I managed a bar in North Hollywood for 1.5 years. And I remember I would work the day shift usually, so I didn't have that many drunk encounters. But man, that night shift, whew, those fucking people. When people get drunk, I'm like, I do not like drunk people. After working there, I was like, okay, I will never suffer through a drunk person again in my life.
Yeah.
And I won't even date someone if they drink and get drunk regularly. Get drunk once a week if you want. Let loose, relax, have a fun time. I'm not talking about blackout drunk, but like have 3 drinks. But otherwise, it's never something where I'm like, that looks good on a person.
Yeah.
Or I never think like, oh, being drunk is productive.
No.
Not that everything you do needs to be productive, but it's often not productive to the point of being counterproductive.
For sure. And that was part of the thing for me personally. I don't know, man. Some people, fucking Winston Churchill drank every morning, right? Yeah. And he saved us from the Nazis.
Yeah.
So whatever. I'm not saying for everybody, but as somebody who like came out to LA to do acting and like music and have my face in front of people and take that risk, it's not fucking helpful for your confidence. No. It doesn't do you any favors at all.
No.
It rarely. I don't know. I don't know how many comics that are like successful and total alcoholics.
No, there are some, but not like it used to be.
Yeah.
First of all, no studio wants to put their money behind someone who's that much of a liability.
Yeah. And also just doesn't, if that's your go-to thing, if you have to have a drink to get on stage or what have you, or sing or perform, it just doesn't, you're always going to want more of that because that's your crutch. And then it's always going to fuck you up. because you won't be able to talk.
It really is one of those things where I couldn't imagine like that's what got me on stage. That's how I was able to be on stage. And then I just have to maintain that. Like I know comedians where it's like part of their stage persona is being like a drinker. Now you're fucked. Now you have to be drunk all the time. That's your thing. That's what everyone's grown to love about you.
So that's another thing that I got from it. I've become aware of that. I got married.
Yeah.
I was never going to get married. Never going to get married.
Why?
My parents got divorced. I'm like older to the point where I'm probably not going to have kids. Not that I don't love kids. I love kids. I'm at a point in my life where I'm just like, I don't want to have the kid be like, oh, I'm 24 and you're dead. You know what I mean? And also I want to travel with my career and et cetera. So it's like, just doesn't make any sense to me to have kids. And I met my wife, Christine, and she is in somewhat the same place. And also like biologically probably not going to work for us. And so I was just like, I'm never going to get married. She even was like, what do you think about marriage? And I was like, man, why would we do that? That's a dumb idea. Like the worst possible response you could have to somebody who brings up marriage. Yeah. And then a few months later, I was like, Geoff, if she brought marriage up, either you do it or you say goodbye. Because she's not going to stick around after bringing up that conversation. Yeah. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, why is it that you wouldn't want to do it? And I talked to some friends and I just thought I pondered it and I did another ayahuasca journey. And I was like, there's nothing to lose here. What is there to lose? I even said to her, I was like, what if it doesn't work out? And she was like, how long have you guys been together now? 4 years. Okay. I was like, what if it doesn't work out? And she goes, then we get divorced. And I was like, oh, okay. Oh, you can just it's do that. That's, and not that she wanted to do that, but like, I just realized my reasons for not wanting to get married were wounding from my own parents' divorce. And I really got in touch with that wounding, which I probably wouldn't had I not been in kind of a transformational environment, and I got over it. Yeah. And now that I am married, we've been married for like 3 months, October, 4 months, whatever that is. And I just, more and more, I see how beautiful it is to have a committed relationship like that, to have somebody who's got your back and you're in a partnership. It's like a very sacred thing. When you guys first started dating, were you like, because I'm in a fairly new relationship, so I'm asking these questions for my own self, but then also I feel like the start of a relationship is such like a fun thing. I feel like if you're in a relationship, it's always fun to hear about. Yeah. Like that, especially new the love. Start. Oh yeah. First 6 months. So like when you first met, you guys met, you told me you met at. Like we met at Landmark Education. Yeah. And so you guys met there. So you're already meeting at a place where we're all here just trying to be better selves. Yeah. Landmark. Just like live better lives, reach our full potential. Exactly. It's a personal development organization. It's like Tony Robbins, that kind of thing, but that's all really about integrity and being your word and living your word, honoring your word, letting go of the past, completing the past, completing your relationships. So just being your higher self, being your highest self. Create really like, how do you process? So you're coming into that trauma. Already, that whoever's showing up there is someone who has a degree of integrity. So that's automatically, I feel like, an attractive thing. Absolutely. But when you guys met each other, were you like, oh my God, who is this girl? Was it immediate, just like intrigue? She's going to hear this. Listen, Christine, I'm getting the good story. When we first met, I liked her. I was like, oh, she's cool. But I thought maybe she was a bitch. Oh, okay. Yeah, I did. And I don't think she was open to being in a relationship. And I was just like, okay, I don't know. There was something about her. Maybe she didn't like me at first. Yeah. And so I was just like, whatever. You know what? I could see her having her coming across as someone who's a bitch. Yeah. Because she's just a confident woman. And that, I think, in this world is she doesn't have people pleasing tendencies. She might have it deep down. She does not suffer fools gladly. Yeah, no, not at all. She doesn't care if every single person in the room is totally comfortable. She's not going to make anyone uncomfortable ever, but she's not going to go out of her way to make sure everybody's okay. Yeah, she doesn't have the people pleasing thing that you and I probably. Yeah, yeah. I think we're both performers and we're both like, please, we need adulation. What have we done? We've done so much for your love. Would you like to have some biscuits? So we're clowns. Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't suffer fools gladly, and I'm a fucking fool. And we're like, she met the fool of the fools, and she's like, all right, fine. Okay, so she came across as kind of bitchy. At what point did it turn for you? So I was very clear. I had been in a relationship before her for 3 years with a really nice woman who I had nothing in common with, but she was really nice, and there was like no drama. She was never dramatic with me. Huh. But it wasn't like, we just weren't we didn't have similar interests.
Do you think there needs to be a degree of drama for it to be a good relationship?
No, I don't. That's why I was with her for so long. I was like, this is fucking refreshing.
Yeah.
But so we broke off amicably, and I wish her really well. She's a really good person. And then I was single for a while, and I was like, I'm just not gonna, I've never been like the player type of guy. I've never been like, oh, I can date 3 girls. I tried dating 2 girls once, and it was for like, just didn't work out. I was like, this is stupid. Pick one. But I was like, I'm just going to be single. I just want to get to know Geoff. I want to get into some Geoff. Get into some me time. Figure out what I'm doing with my life.
Good old Geoff.
And I was doing personal development work, and I was crafting sort of what my future was going to be, and experimenting with different like comedy stuff and that kind of thing. And then I put a list together. I was like, okay, this is what I'm looking for in a woman. Is I want a smart, independent woman who's got her shit together and has financially stable, independent. She has like a good job. She's beautiful, and she totally gets me and my career, and wanted to partner with me on that, because I need a fucking friend. You know what I mean? I'm not organized. I did not have my shit together. And now I have my shit together, in large part because of her. Yeah. So I was like, I want a partner. I'm looking for somebody who's like really wants to partner with me.
I want to put a pin in that and how she helped you get your shit together, but we'll come back to that.
And so then at some point I was doing like a bunch of Instagram, like goofy voices and videos and stuff, and just being a dork. And she came up to me and she was like, and something had shifted in her too. She had changed. She was more open.
So at this point you guys had known each other.
And we had known each other for like a year. Like, you know, like, hey, how's it going? We see each other. We were in a seminar together. So I was doing that. We were in one of those, and I saw her, and she came up to me. She was like, God, I really love your Instagram posts. You're really funny. And I was like, oh, want to go out?
Oh my God. All you need to do is compliment them.
That's all I needed. I just need a little flattery. It gets you everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's really how it went down. I was like, okay, she gets me. And then we went to the Brixton. Okay. And we had like flatbread pizza and beers, and I was smoking, and I was like, she's cool. I was like, okay, she'll do. She's great. And then we made out. And that was great. I was like, let's do it again. And at that time I was like drinking we were both drinking, and it was great. We just had this beautiful like time together, and really got to know each other. And then that was kind of the beginning. That was the start of it.
How often were you guys hanging out when you first started dating?
We were just together.
Inseparable.
Yeah.
That's cute.
I went all in. Yeah. We both went all in. Yeah. It was kind of
been like that before with other people?
Not since like college.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was not like that with my previous girlfriend.
Yeah.
She and I saw each other like a couple times a week, a few times a week. Yeah. And then COVID hit, and it was just like, that was like a huge test of a relationship. Cause like either you're going to be with the person or not.
How long had you guys been together when COVID hit?
It's 4 years. So that was 2019. We got together, and then COVID hit. We got together in February
of 2019.
And then COVID hit.
So a year later. COVID hit. Yeah. Pretty much.
And then I was just like at her place all the time. Yeah. We were like holed up, and it was, and I was doing a lot of music and recording a lot of music at the time, and working on that whole aspect of my career, and which now I'm releasing all that stuff this year.
So how did she help you get your life together?
How did she get me organized? First of all, I'm a peculiar fellow. I came out to LA to be an actor, but I'm also a musician and a singer. And then I also like to do comedy. How long were you in LA? 20 years. So, yeah. And that's why I was like, if I find somebody that's into what I'm up to, that's great. And if not, I don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah. You know what I mean? I wasn't like desperate. I just was like, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm calling in. Yeah. And this is what I want to manifest. It was manifesting, Christine.
You manifested her.
Actually, as cliche and ridiculous as it sounds, I did do that. Yeah. I did say, I said, these are the things that I'm looking for. And if I don't see it, if there's anything that's not in place in this list, I'm not going to go there. Yeah. I will not fuck that girl, whoever it is. Because once you fuck them, if you like it, that's it. You're done. You're in the relationship. That's it. Yeah. So she was very helpful. She believed in my music, and she was like, look, I think your music's great, and I think you should record stuff. And so she helped me figure out that path. And I worked with a coach for a while. And I found a producer through a friend of mine who's a really successful musician out here. And this guy, Brad Gordon, who's like a total genius and gets me. So that was like super helpful. And then everything, I was doing the Geoff Irwin show. So my name is Geoff Irwin, Geoff Eido Irwin. Eido's like my
GEO, which my friend was making the jokes about. I did a show in Sacramento. And Geoff and Christine came out to it. And the guy who was opening for me, Zayed Devjay, he had this joke about fuck Jeffs who spell their names Geof.
Yeah,
and I am
I'm sitting in
just
the front row.
dying because I knew he was in the room. I didn't know you were sitting right up front. And then when I got on stage and I saw you sitting right up front, I was like, oh my God, that is even funnier.
Yeah.
That he was
almost
doing
raised
those
my
just a stone throw away from you.
Yeah. What
That's
an asshole.
really funny. But yeah, GEOF. I think I've known two GEOFFs.
Yeah. We're special. Yeah. I'm GEOFF because my mom wanted to name me after my uncle, her brother, who's Geoff with a J. He's Geoff with a J.
Oh.
My dad is Greg with a G, and she wanted us to have the same initials. And she's Gail with a G. So now all three of us have the same initials. So I'm GDE. And then I did the Zen thing. And I studied you can go through Jukai, which is Buddhist confirmation sort of. Buddhism's a non-exclusive tradition or religion rather. So it's not like you can only get to God if you go through us. There's no, and it's not like that. Anyway, you study the sutras and you do Zen koan study with the teacher for like 6 months and you, whatever. And then they give you a Dharma name at the end of it. And my name is Eido. EIDO, which is like named after this Zen Roshi in New York, who's famous for his like talks and stuff.
Were you always interested in this spiritual quest in life?
Absolutely.
It's always been who you are.
Always. I've always wondered what the fuck is going on here.
What's the meaning of life?
Yeah. Why are we here?
Yeah.
I've always had that seeker bone. I mean, I remember I have a few first inklings like of experiencing God,
seeker,
but
the idea of a seeker, I feel like that would be a really like cool song to sing about, like about being a seeker.
Yeah. All right. Good ideas. We're going to come back to this. You know what I mean? I'm going to write a fucking seeker song.
Yeah. And
then we're going to do an interview again and we're going to watch the video and you're going to be like, oh my God, I came up with that idea. And I would be like, yes, you did.
I just feel like it's like when you just said that about yourself, I was like, yeah, you're a seeker. You're one who's just constantly seeking for like meaning and things and life and answers.
I want to know why we're here deeply. And I do believe that there is a spiritual, divine, some sort of creator thing about it. Do you know what I mean? My first, when I was like 8 or 9, I remember I was playing baseball or softball. I think it was softball at the elementary school, Rockbrook Elementary, where I went to school in Omaha, Nebraska. And I was in the outfield naturally because I sucked. Didn't get coordinated until I was like 16.
Yeah. I was in the infield, but keep going.
Oh, naturally. Yeah, you were. You totally were. You're, you're
Catcher.
fucking, okay. Whoa, catcher.
Yeah.
Damn. Butch. I didn't realize you were a lesbian.
Such a lesbian.
Yeah.
Like
That's
literally,
awesome.
I played baseball.
That's cool.
The fact that I'm not gay is astounding to everyone.
love it.
I've tried because I'm
too.
like, it never worked out for me. Okay, so you were in the outfield because you sucked.
So I was in the outfield because I sucked. And it was this like beautiful day. Like it had just rained and the clouds were like big and bushy. And there were these like sun rays that were coming down from all the way from the clouds onto the ground. And I was like, oh my God, this is the most amazing, beautiful thing that I have ever seen. It was like being in heaven. And I was just like totally transfixed by this beauty. Really, I was just really just like in complete and total awe of this beautiful sight that I was seeing. And the ball, I heard the ball drop like 8 feet
Everyone's
from me.
like, fucking Jeff.
And they're like, Erwin, get the ball, Erwin. And I ran after the ball and I was like, and I threw it. And of course it went like the wrong direction. It was a calamity. But it was, to me, it was like, how could you fucking be thinking about baseball when God has landed? You know what I mean? It was like such an incredible experience.
Are you seeing these rays?
Yeah.
And they're like, you mean these Ray-Bans? These are my 6 sunglasses. I'm in the outfield right now, you fucking loser. That's really, it's what a great image of a kid like seeing God, and then like the other kids who are like so unenlightened around you being like, all right, that was probably a time when everybody was just like, do you remember when we were younger and everybody would just be like, fag? Like anytime you did something that wasn't like what anyone else was doing. Oh, it was just so, God, kids
I got so much of that.
So much of that.
I got called fag.
I got it a few times. Oh, what are you, gay? And I'm like,
yeah.
It's a good question.
I had some bullying on that pretty bad when I was a kid. I think anybody who does any sort of comedic type performance kind of thing got really fucked with a lot.
Yeah. No, there's no comedian who's, it was just smooth sailing when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Things were just good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't come to comedy because the roads were paved in gold.
No,
okay.
No.
You get there because they were paved in tears.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit of blood, maybe a little bit of sweat, but that's what those are. Yeah.
Yeah. He figured out how to make people laugh on some level, and then they stopped fucking with you.
Yeah. And then figure out what entertains you. Like, oh my God, the amount of time I spent alone with my imaginary friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
My best friend was an imaginary person named Crystal.
Oh, wow. Crystal.
Yeah.
What was she like?
She would look like a Barbie. She was super hot.
Okay.
Because I always wanted to be like a hot, cool girl, and I never was. So my imaginary best friend was Crystal, and she was super hot and cool.
Yeah, I like it.
She like went through puberty. She had like boobs and like good calves. Yeah, I had her manufactured head to toe.
Did you see her when you imagined her? Do you think that she was like a spirit?
It was just like, it was one of those things where it was like, she was just like in my head.
Okay.
I never saw her as a physical entity walking around, but I like very much was like, yeah, I have this imaginary best friend who I like talk to. And then when I would play Barbies, anytime I held a Barbie, whatever Barbie I was holding, that would be Crystal.
That was Crystal.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
What's your daily routine? I love the idea of routine.
Now I get up and meditate.
For how long?
Like minimum 20 minutes to an hour every morning. I'm so into it. I just love it. It's really helpful for me. And then either I'll work on podcasts, or I'll work on music, or I'll work on videos, or anything that's related to what I'm up to right now. I was going to the gym for 4 times a week. I broke my elbow, so I'm not going right now.
Well, when did you move out of LA?
We moved in, let's see, it was November. It's been a year and like a month.
Yeah.
So 2021.
Do you miss LA?
December. No.
No?
Not even remotely.
No, you're in NorCal. Where are you in NorCal?
I live in Rough and Ready.
Rough and Ready?
It's really called Rough and Ready. I ain't even joking, sister. Rough and Ready. I'll tell the story. I was recording this woman playing didgeridoo for this one song that will be coming out this year called Ordinary Night. And she was like basically late. I was at her house and she was working with a client doing what she does. And so I was playing music and I played like all the songs that I have written. And this guy was there who was a friend of hers. And he was like, dude, I really love your stuff. Like, you should check out Grass Valley. There's a bunch of great musicians up there. It's like very folk kind of themed and it's beautiful there. It's really beautiful. And I was like, okay, that sounds cool. And then Christine had a couple of friends up there, and it's 2.5 hours from my mom who's in San Francisco. I was like, all right, let's check it out. And we went up there and just fell in love. Totally fell in love. Yeah. And now I live in the woods. It's great.
Love it?
Oh my God. It's so great. I love it. We wanted to buy a house, and forget it here.
Yeah.
Like,
never mind. Yeah. It's impossible.
The house that we have there would be like, I don't know, many millions of dollars here. Yeah. And it's not even that great. It's a great house. We love where we live, but yeah, we wanted to be closer to nature. And I just wanted like more of I finally came to the conclusion. I was like, if I'm creating music and I'm doing podcasts and I'm creating video type stuff, I don't need to be in LA to do that. I can always come down here and stay with friends or whomever or wherever. I don't have to live there. I can live and be close to nature and be able to go hiking and go snowboarding and whatever. Totally love it. I do want to ask you about comedy and why you got into comedy.
I had too many jobs where I was saying the wrong thing, and it was getting to the point where I was like, I need to do something where I can be exactly who I am. And then a friend of mine was like, you should do stand up. And I was like, okay. And at that point, I had been doing some improv and some acting classes, just having fun. I was still in the working world. I was in marketing and advertising for years.
Okay.
And then just enjoyed being funny. I was a class clown, and I was always just a silly, goofy person.
Where did you do improv?
I did improv at IO West.
Oh, okay.
Right. Where I started in 2005.
Okay.
And then I did like theater in West Hollywood. I was part of this gay theater group.
Oh, fun.
Again, still not gay, but was very much teetering on it. And then took a stand-up writing class that a friend had recommended to me, who I worked with in advertising. And then, I was like, oh, stand-up comedy is great. And I did it. And I was like, oh yeah, this is what I should do.
It's awesome.
And I was so unfunny for the longest time.
Really?
I still don't think I'm all that funny.
Oh God, you're hilarious.
I mean, I was funny, but I was not a great stand-up comic. I got by on having a shit ton of personality. Yeah. Been doing it for a pretty long time now.
Is there a mission about it for you? Like, is there a reason why comedy? Aside from the fact that you're good at it, you love making people laugh. Is there something?
A really good question. I don't know if it's like my life's purpose, if it's what I'm put on this planet for. I'm trying to look at it as like, I am but a vessel. And this is how I bring my gift from God to the world. through my comedy. I'm trying to believe that more. I spend a lot of time, and especially with ayahuasca, just like really trying to connect with a higher power.
Yeah.
I don't know if comedy is what I'm meant to do, but I think it's part of my process. I think it's part of my path in life, I should say.
I think you're totally meant to do stand-up comedy. I have no doubt about it.
Yeah, I have doubts about it.
After seeing you headline that show in Sacramento, I was like, totally, she's living her path. She's living her truth right now. And I think it's
just very hard. I think I read this quote the other day. It was an Ira Glass. I wonder if I have it saved somewhere. Nobody tells this to people who are beginners. I wish someone had told me. All of us who do creative work, we get into it because we have good taste. But there is this gap. For the first couple of years, you make stuff. It's just not that good. It's trying to be good. It has potential, but it's not. But your taste, the thing that got you into the game, is still killer. And your taste is why your work disappoints you. A lot of people never get past this phase. They quit. Most people I know who do interesting creative work went through years of this. We know our work doesn't have this special thing that we want it to have. We all go through this. And if you were just starting out or you're still in this phase, you gotta know that it's normal. And the most important thing you can do is to do a lot of work. Put yourself on a deadline so that every work you finish one piece. It's only by going through a volume of work that you will close the gap and the work will be as good as your ambition. And I took longer to figure out how to do this than anyone I've ever met. It's going to take a while. It's normal to take a while. You just got to fight your way through it. Ira Glass.
Fuck yeah.
Anyhow, it's like we became artists because we know what art is. We know what good art is because good art moved us to a point where we ourselves wanted to make art. And I think one of the frustrating parts of being an artist is you know how good art can be. And when you fall short of what you think really good art is, it's hard.
Yeah, really hard. That's true.
And what keeps you going is the hopes that you will get to that point where you're as good as that person who once inspired you to be an artist.
Yeah, totally.
And that's the hard part about being an artist.
Yeah.
Is when you're trying to reconcile what you know to be really, truly incredible art with wherever you are in your artistic process, which isn't necessarily the finished result. If you're a painter and you see Picasso and Picasso inspires you to be an artist, you might not get to where Picasso is. And it's frustrating.
Yeah.
You know that that's what good art is because it moved you enough to pick up a brush yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the important thing is to not stop. The important thing is to keep going and you will get to your end. You will get to your Picasso. You're never going to be Picasso. You're going to be your own thing.
You're going to be Schreiber.
Yeah.
And there's so much. I did groundlings, by the way.
Oh, nice.
There's so much self-consciousness that you have to get over, and judging yourself and, okay, I have to leave the critic at the door and just go for it. You have to be like really confident and committed in what you're up to, which means you have to let go of the need to look good, which is totally counterintuitive. Yeah. And you have to be willing to be ridiculed for what you're doing. Yeah. And if you're worried about being ridiculed, you will be ridiculed because you won't be able to totally be yourself or on stage or performing. And so then you're going to suck. So you have to put yourself into the intention of whatever it is that you're doing and just not give a fuck.
You have to embrace the suck.
Yeah, you have to embrace the suck and see that failure is part of your success. Yeah,
and if you're not failing, you're not going to succeed.
There's no way.
You have to fail to succeed.
Yeah. I keep reflecting on this. I've been thinking about it so much lately. One of my first spiritual teachers, this guy who was the youth minister at my church when I was growing up. I went to a very loose Christian church. He was like, the original meaning for sin is Latin and it means to miss the bullseye. Oh. It refers to archery. Yeah. And so if you think about it in that context, there's no way you're ever going to hit the bullseye without sinning all the time. You're going to constantly miss it. It is a gateway
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress. And yet we have such a stigma about failure. Yeah. It's such a bad thing when the reality is no, failure, that's practice. Yeah. If you don't fail, you're never going to succeed. And so you have to value the failure as much as the success. You just don't show everybody the failure, or they see it anyway. But
if you think about it, even on biological, like a molecular level, like within the human body, like if it's like when it comes to like bones or muscle, in order for muscle to grow, you have to tear it apart. And when you tear the muscle apart, it's then able to like build up stronger. That's what bodybuilding is. You're tearing down your muscles and then you're feeding it with food and protein and all of that and building it up. Same thing with bones, like in karate, where you like hit things and chop things. You start off with little things and you're basically making like small little breaks in your bones. Because when you break your bones, it hardens.
Right.
So it creates little scar tissue. That's what scar tissue is. It's just you thickening your skin. It's just you hardening yourself. It's making you more prepared for life. Because regular tissue is strong, but then when you rip it, it has to come back even stronger so it'll hold. So it's everything is just a series of breaking ourselves down to make ourselves stronger on the level of like life experience, but like down to our molecules, like we're doing the same thing. We're literally like breaking ourselves down to build ourselves up at all times.
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And the more that you're willing to fail, the more that you're able to grow.
Yeah.
The more discomfort you're able to allow yourself to experience, and you're able to consciously, the more you're able to embrace that fear, the further that you're going to grow at all times, which is such a weird thing. What the fuck? Why is it set up like that?
Dude, my friend today told me, he's go run a 5K, go fast for 3 days, go push your body and it'll push your mind.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. And it's like, you have to make yourself wildly uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. Our first episode for this podcast was with my friend Sterling Hawkins, who wrote a book called Hunting Discomfort.
Yeah.
It's all about that. It's if you're not willing to go after. And the other thing is about that, I think for sure as performers, you have to be like, you have to embrace the suck, like you said, but also just, you're going to experience the pain of losing no matter what. Even if it's in your own mind and you're just like, well, I didn't even try. I feel so ashamed for not going after my dream.
To me, losing in your mind is way worse than losing in reality.
It really
your mind
is.
Can play fucking tricks on you. Because in your mind, you're just going to extrapolate and make it even worse than it was, when you can just, lose in reality. And you're like, all right, now I know the reality of it. So you don't need to deal with the perceived potential reality and what your brain can do with that. Because you'll go fucking nuts.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, and I think for Sterling too, it's if you consciously are willing to embrace your discomfort because you are searching for it, then you really like flip the table. Yeah. Because you're gonna experience the pain no matter what. You might as well. I'd rather take it up front. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Give it to me now. I'll go run the marathon.
That's how
Let's
I feel.
Fucking go.
I always say that about cheating. If you're ever gonna cheat on me, just fucking tell me.
Yeah.
Just tell me. Because if you cheat on me and lie to me, then I have to deal with you cheating and your fucking lie. Because then I don't have to deal with the rest of the bullshit.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it really is. The mind is it's such a wild. I mean, I definitely feel the whole, you saying that you're a seeker and you've always been a seeker. I don't think I've always been a seeker in the spiritual sense. I've always been a seeker in like the scientific sense. I love to like understand why the body is the way it is, why this. I've never been curious about the spiritual plane of life. And since doing ayahuasca, I definitely like energy is real. Like someone's energy, that's a real fucking thing. Mm-hmm. Like I was telling you earlier, like I remember doing a ceremony and being like, there's good vibes and bad vibes. And some people are good vibes and some people are bad vibes. And then I realized there isn't even bad vibes. There's just people who aren't your vibes. They're just not your thing. Those just aren't your people.
Right.
And it's all about finding like the energy and the flow that's your energy and going with that. And then whatever isn't, you don't need to put a value on it. Just don't go with that. That's just not your thing. That might work for someone else.
Yeah. You don't have to judge them. They're on their own journey.
No,
none of us knows what the fuck is going on
don't
anyway.
Put a judge. That's one of the things that's like really hard as people, because I think human nature is to judge things because you had to do that for survival. This is a safe situation. This is not a safe situation. Don't do a not safe situation. Lions are there. Don't go where the lions are. Go where they're not. As humans, survival was based on judging a situation. But then we took that judgment and put it on a million different things of this like perceived danger, even when it comes to like meeting other people. Like there doesn't need to be judgment and value on everything. Like it can just be and just not be the thing for you.
Yeah, exactly. You can just be in acceptance.
Yeah, be in acceptance.
Yeah, and there's a whole thing about judgment on the spiritual front. First of all, I think being scientifically inclined is also being a seeker.
Yeah.
Because then you're just curious about how it all works.
Yeah.
And it's all related.
Yeah.
Spooky action at a distance is what the fuck is that all about?
Yeah.
There are quantum physics proves the existence of God in my mind so much because we don't really know. You're creating reality as you're seeing it, which is insane. That's scientifically proven now. It's like, what does that fucking mean?
It's also scientifically proven that there is no such thing as pure chaos, that at some point in all chaos, there is order. There is repetition. If chaos goes on long enough, you will find order. There will be one point of repetition.
That's so cool.
And all you need is 1 point of repetition in order to break chaos.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's really no pure chaos. Nothing is impossible.
Yeah.
It just might take an extremely long period of time to make something possible, but it's all possible.
At some point, the raindrops will make. Yeah. Wow. Deep talk on lunacy. You know what I mean?
Deep talk.
All right.
Geoff and Nicole.
Jeff and Nicole. We're doing it.
Brought to you by Ayahuasca.
Exactly.
But it's
Make
not
sure
for
they know what they do.
everyone.
It's not for everyone. It really is not.
It's really not.
Can't be terrifying.
We couldn't emphasize that enough. It's truly not for everyone.
Really not.
Don't ask us about it. Go find someone who's actually in your life.
And also, maybe you don't need it. Go for a run. Do some exercise. Meditate every morning. Whatever. Stop drinking for a fucking week.
I started with a 5-minute meditation, and I've now worked my way up to a 10-minute meditation. Has it taken 2 years? Absolutely.
Boom.
Look at her. Bam.
Bam. Yeah. It's always been that's always been I don't know. It's a super important thing for me.
Yeah.
And now I'm used to it.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't think very well.
I'm getting better about it.
I'm dumb. Yeah. Like naturally. So I have to clear out the cobwebs.
Just a very smart statement.
It's accurate.
Super dumb.
It's like naturally. I have to.
Smartest thing this idiot has ever said.
Yeah. It's like there's cobwebs up here. And if I sit and meditate, they start to fucking peel and I can see beyond the bullshit. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, that, or I'm listening to my higher thing. I have to ask you a couple more questions.
Yes, ask me more questions.
I want to know, first of all, God bless us for seekers and FSA.
Yeah, totally.
My commitment is like, and part of why I am interested in comedy and interested in you and doing funny things is because I feel like it's a really great gateway to breaking down prejudices and barriers and like laughing at the bullshit of life and really looking deeper at our relationships to each other and the planet and living in harmony. I feel like we really are in desperate, dire need of a huge transformation for humanity. And somehow I think fucking laughter is a goddamn gateway. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You gotta take the pressure off comedians. Comedians aren't not the answer.
I know that they're not the answer, but there is something to be said for having a sense of humor in your own life.
1000%. Have a sense of humor.
I'm not saying it's up to you to save the world. I'm simply saying that I feel strongly that comedy I think it's a noble profession and I applaud you for doing it. And I wanted to ask you about what it's like to be a woman in comedy.
God. I mean, it's interesting. I don't feel like men in comedy will ever truly see women as their equals. And I don't think people who are fans of comedy will ever truly see women as equals to men in comedy. But I don't even care about it anymore. I know it's there. If the injustices of being a woman in any industry is really bothering you, you're going to be struggling with that the whole time. I don't think there's equality in anything between men and women. I think it is very much a man's world, which is baffling to me. It's absolutely baffling to me that in the history of the world that men have been the superior gender just because of their strength.
Dominant, not superior.
Dominant. And I'm just like, how did that happen? How did that happen? How did it happen that a woman can make life in her body, which is literally playing God?
Yeah.
That's as God as it gets, making life. That is some God level shit.
Totally.
How did that happen?
You are the creator.
How did that happen? And then men are like, we get top billing.
Yeah.
How the fuck did that happen? Unbelievable to me. It is unbelievable to me that the number one thing a human body can do that is the most godlike of all things is something that a woman does. But yet men in the history of the world are like, we can protect you. Great. We still make the lives. And then
I've gotten into this life without coming through that.
Yeah. Sorry. That's some of the craziest shit a human being can do. And that is why I want to have a kid, by the way. And I learned that on ayahuasca.
Wow. That's so cool.
Because my seeker part of my brain is like, why the fuck are we here?
Yeah.
What is the meaning of all of this shit? And then I remember at my second ceremony, the one where we were talking about beforehand, I was like so sick. I was having like stomach issues the whole first day of the ceremony, and everybody was like taking care of me. Every person was like coming by me and petting me and rubbing my back and asking me if they could help in any way. But the second day of the ceremony was like a revelation. And I was sitting near the shaman's wife. I'm not going to say names, the shaman's wife, and she was there with her 2 daughters. And then I was near our redheaded friend, and then there was another girl, I can't remember her name. But the redheaded friend of ours was there with her mom. And I remember just being surrounded by all of this like maternal energy and being like, oh, the only way I can really, if I really want to understand why we are brought to this earth, I'm going to have to bring something to this earth. And I was like,
wow,
that's it.
What a beautiful revelation.
Our vaginas are portals to truth.
Yeah. True story.
I got a real truthy pussy.
That's right. You got very truthy pussy. That's why I'm talking to you.
It's so funny to say it in a Southern accent. You got a real truth pussy.
You know what? That's why I want to talk to you. She's got truth puss.
Truth puss. Old truth puss here.
Nicole Truth Puss Schreiber.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's just, it truly is baffling to me that
makes no sense to
anybody
me
could
either.
not think women are just the greatest thing ever known to man.
I agree.
So as far as being a woman in comedy, I'm over it. I don't even care at this point.
I just think, first of all, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I am a mama's boy. I love my mother. I have 2 sisters. So I grew up like around women pretty much. And that was like the thing. And both of my sisters are like very intelligent and just go-getters in their careers and like really good examples of being strong women. So I never understood the just suppression of women.
Yeah.
And I grew up in Omaha. And so there was like, people were respectful of women.
Yeah.
My friends anyway were respectful of women. Guys, we all wanted to fuck everyone when we were in high school and the hormones are all going. And that's like normal.
Yeah.
But it was like, there was a respectability that was there. There was no rapey weirdness fortunately in my culture, in the world that I grew up in, that I knew about.
Yeah.
And I just never understood it. I never understood that. I never really fundamentally understood racism. It's easy to say as a white guy, obviously, because I'm whatever. But I really never understood it. And I still to this day don't get it. It's such it's such a patsy bullshit, ignorant thing to do. It's they're fucking, because you don't want to face yourself. So you're just going to think other people are less than you, either because they're
it's easy.
A different color than you. Fucking stupid.
It's easy to build yourself up by saying, all right, I'm great because this person's less than me.
Right. And it's so false.
It's a shortcut. It's a shortcut to having self-esteem.
Yeah. Oh, and it's not authentic self-esteem because really underneath it, you're being a hater because you hate yourself.
If you have to make yourself feel good because you see someone else as less than you, then it's not authentic.
No, exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So I've never understood that either. And I think I did do like a documentary on hunger where we went to Malawi, Africa, and we looked at the Hunger Project, which is this amazing organization that like works to help the people who are hungry end their own hunger, to empower the people themselves to end their own hunger. That's their like motto. And one of the chief cause of hunger is the suppression of women. There's also like the IMF and the World Bank and all that fucking bullshit. You know what I mean? The bankers are fucking it up too, for sure.
Yeah.
But also like in all these cultures, there's the suppression of women. You can't open your own bank account if you live in Malawi unless you're with a man. It just makes no fucking sense. It really has brought the world down in so many ways. And basically I'm telling you, because you need to fucking take over. You know what I mean? That song, Women of the World Take Over.
I used to want to be the let me take over the world and run the world person. But I'm like, can I just take a nap? I'm fucking tired. This world domination shit is it's a lot.
That's what I came here to tell you, Nicole. You know what I mean? We need Truth Puss for president.
Truth Puss for PREZ.
All right. TP for P.
TP for P. Yeah, it's a lot. Life is exhausting. And the older I get, I'm like, fuck, I can barely get through this fucking podcast. I'm just like,
You're a champion.
I am tired.
You're a warrior princess.
Life is exhausting.
It is. I agree with that.
Life done right is truly exhausting.
Yeah, it's true.
If you're living life, you're tired.
Yeah. You really want to be, if you're not really tired when you go to bed at night, you didn't fucking do enough.
Yeah.
You need to go back and do more.
Yeah,
Work
do more.
harder. and be like of service.
Just, yeah. Oh, be of service. Like biggest thing. If you're not of service at some point during the day, I don't see it as a complete day.
Yeah.
You got to go help someone else out on this fucking earth, not yourself.
Yeah.
And don't just give your money. You have to give of your time to someone else.
I don't even understand. It's such a weird thing to me that we live in such a selfish culture. It just makes no sense to me because I don't understand how you can navigate. If you're being of service and giving something, and like for the act of being of service, then it takes you out of your head and you're not fucking worried about
how
people are perceiving you all the time.
Nothing gets you out of your head better than exercise or doing something for someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what we're saying. Fucking get in shape and goddamn it, go out there and do some shit for other people.
Go.
You know what I mean?
Stop being such a selfish dick bag. By the way, I just made oat milk yesterday with the guy that I'm seeing. I had to go into Whole Foods, and in Whole Foods, I had to ask a woman if she had any nut bags. Because that's how you make nut milk, with a nut bag.
With nut bag.
So I just was laughing before I even got to it. And I was like, God, I am so sorry that I have to say this statement to you. But do you know where I can find a nut bag? And she was like, I haven't heard that one before. I'm like, no, it's to make nut milk or oat milk. You need to put it in this bag. It's like cheesecloth, but it's in a bag form. She's like, nut bag. Okay, let's go look. I'll go to the area where the cheesecloth is, and then if it's going to be anywhere, it'll be there. And then we saw it together. She goes, oh, look, it's a nut bag.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I am now the proud owner of a nut bag.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. I want to see it.
Yeah.
I'm being honest. I'd like to see your nut bag. It's everything
Nicole. Thought you'd never ask. All right. Truth Puss is going to show him her nut bag. So much going on here. We should title this podcast episode Truth Puss and the Nut Bag. If that's not clickbait,
seriously,
everyone's gonna be like, Truth Puss, Nut Bag, what?
Yeah, exactly. Or Truth Puss for president.
Truth Puss for PREZ.
I think Truth Puss. Yeah, I'm running your campaign.
Yeah.
And watch out because I'm getting Christine involved. So you're probably gonna win.
I'm like, she can engineer the whole thing.
She can be your VP. You guys together will organize the whole fuck. This is the fucking plan, actually.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Vote for Truth Puss for PREZ. VP for Christine Irwin. Yeah. Boom. Watch the fuck out. Yeah. There is also something I just wanted to mention. I keep thinking about this because it pisses me off so much. Pussy. Calling somebody a pussy. Like, I grew up calling people's pussies all the time. You know what I mean? I got called a pussy much more than I call people a pussy. It's such a fucking misnomer. Like, I really feel strongly that when you're going to call somebody a pussy, instead you should call them a testy. Because pussies are the strongest fucking organ on the body.
I talk about this all the time with my friend Stacia. She's a personal trainer. She's also really wildly entertaining. Follow her on Instagram, Stacia Pat. But she'll be like, don't be a pussy. Actually, don't be a dick. Pussies are so strong.
Don't be a testy.
Don't be a testy. It's really don't be a testy. But
it should be, yeah, because testies you could just blow on it wrong. And I'm on my knees. Yeah, there you go. There he is. What a good guy. All right. Anything else we want to talk about? Truth Puss?
Adopt, don't shop. Find your dogs in the street.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I did.
We found our cat at this shelter also. All right. I think that's it. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Love you guys. Let's do it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Truth Puss out.
Woo! Truth Puss for PREZ. Bleh. Ready? Wait, we got to howl. Ready? Ow! That brings us to the end of this episode of Lunacy. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to, please rate and review this podcast on Apple Podcasts. Tell your friends about it. Subscribe, download episodes. We're trying to keep this thing going. Okay? Lunacy was created by myself and is written by myself and also edited by my good friend Kimberly Bridges. Thanks so much for listening. See you next week. Much love.